Tonight, Whyalla Council throws its support behind the business case for a desalination plant, and a new strategy for South Australia's seafood industry unveiled.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Whyalla's mayor has put her support behind a business study for a proposed desalination plant in the Upper Spencer Gulf. However, yesterday's announcement has re-raised old concerns about the impact of a plant on the region's marine environment.
Backing a project which could unlock potential jobs and economic investments in the region. Whyalla's Mayor Claire McLaughlin throwing her support behind a business case for a potential desalination plant in the Upper Spencer Gulf.
This is a very positive announcement because what it does, it helps to support current industries such as OzMineral and BHP who are contributing towards the fund.
The Northern Water Supply project is projected to bring up to 8,000 construction jobs to the region. The mayor says a desalination plant in the region will help accelerate the city's green industry ambitions. However, a potential location could become a hot topic. 10 years ago, council raised concerns over the environmental impact of a similar proposal at Point Lowly.
During the study process, it is going to be critical to make sure that all the environmental impacts are taken into consideration. It's incredibly important to our region that we make the right decision.
The member for Giles sharing those concerns, saying certain areas are unsuitable.
You'd have to look for another location where there's good current, good flow, so that any brine discharge is within 10% of background levels.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
South Australia's seafood sector will receive $1 million of state government funding to support a range of programs. It's part of a 10-year growth strategy, hoping to make South Australia the seafood state once again.
The seafood industry casting a new line. State funding made available to support commercial and recreational fishing over the next decade.
$700,000 to implement the strategy, $300,000 to support a peak commercial body going forward as well across the sectors. We'll see $100,000 going to the wreck fishers.
The Seafood Forum was made up of 20 members working together to put the sector back on the map.
7 pillars and near 40 goals and 113 initiatives. We put a lot of time and effort into developing this over 8 months. It was an intensive 8 months.
The strategy looking to build on 7,000 jobs across the state and help to adapt to new technologies.
Those technologies can actually make it really sustainable for people going forward. It'll change the way they may fish, etc. Knowing different techniques they can use using these new technologies that are out there.
The strategy also launching the state's equivalent of the golden ticket. Anglers will now have the chance to catch one of a number of golden fish in a new competition.
$20,000 towards the golden fish. So we'll be putting golden fish tags out there across different areas to give the rec sector the ability to catch these fish and get a prize.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
2 dirt bike riders will face court after having their bikes impounded in Whyalla. Just after 4 p.m. on Tuesday, officers stopped the bikes along McBride Terrace in Whyalla Playford. The 18-year-olds were reported for riding unregistered, uninsured, unlicensed, without number plates, with no helmets and failing to keep left. Their dirt bikes were impounded for 28 days. And police are investigating an attempted robbery at a Port Lincoln service station this morning. Around 2 a.m, police were called to Hallett Place after a woman allegedly threatened the console operator with a syringe. Police arrested a 53-year-old woman inside the store. She was charged with attempted aggravated robbery and was bailed to appear in court next month. As changes to how we manage COVID continue to develop across the country, Far West residents are once again being warned not to get complacent. The local health district recording more than 40 new cases in the region overnight.
Case numbers once again trending upwards. The rolling 7-day figure in the Far West now 317, up from 251. 94 PCR tests and 232 RATs were also conducted, with 41 cases detected in the region.
In part to do with the fact that children have returned to school. We have had cases, positive cases, both students and some teachers, and that's right across the board.
The return of school, one of the factors behind the rise.
We do expect to see some numbers, but I don't think that at this stage that it's anything to be alarmed about.
Meanwhile, the region's vaccination clinic will be moved to the Cole shopping village. The move aimed at increasing 5 to 11-year-old rates, which sit at just under 30%, and booster numbers, which are at 40%.
Part of the thinking really was to make it as committed as possible to the community.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the expansion of the Lincoln Gap wind farm gathering speed, and Port Germain residents have their say on the foreshore redevelopment plan. Welcome back. If you felt the earth move last night, you were part of a minor tremble. Geoscience Australia says a 3.1 magnitude earthquake struck 165 kilometres northeast of Port Augusta. It occurred at around 6:15 p.m. and at a depth of 8 kilometres. However, the impact appears minimal, with Port Augusta residents reportedly barely feeling the tremor. The Energy Minister has toured Nexus Energy's Lincoln Gap wind farm to mark the completion of the most recent wave of turbines. The operators are now looking to the future, starting the tendering process for Stage 3 of the project.
More wind turbines are about to spin into action. Stage 2 of Nexus Lincoln Gap wind farm is now complete.
Moving on towards Stage 3, they expect their tendering process for Stage 3 to be completed reasonably soon, for some on-ground work to commence at the end of this year.
The Minister says the 212 megawatt wind farm along with a large grid-scale battery will bolster the state's electricity grid.
Lincoln Gap consists of 59 turbines. It's a hybrid wind farm.
The combination of wind and grid-scale battery that's being built here at Lincoln Gap are exactly the sort of thing that our South Australian grid needs.
Construction wasn't without some turbulence. Vesta Wind Systems asked to step in and replace the financially troubled Senvion in 2019.
We've got 35 Senvion wind farms, wind turbines over there, and then of course for Stage 2 we've got 24 Vestas wind turbines, and to make up the whole wind farm.
Nexus plans to more than double the current size of Lincoln Gap. Vestas and local businesses are excited about the Stage 3 tender process.
Surrounding region to have these job opportunities and the commercial benefit that goes to other existing businesses is very important as well.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Port Germain community were invited along to a public consultation today to discuss the plans for a new playground. The old playground will be torn down and replaced with modern equipment that resembles the themes of the ocean.
It's old and outdated. Port Germain's foreshore has stood the test of time, but will soon get a fresh look in a bid to attract more families and tourists into town. The architect behind the plans, presenting the concept art to the community today, getting their thoughts and concerns in the form of stickers.
So we'll be looking to have something for some of the older kids, but also some of the younger kids as well. So connecting to the coastal environment with rocks and crabs and things like that.
If approved, the playground will feature rock pools, climbing nets, bubblers and a giant blue crab for kids to play on. But parents are hoping the swings will still stay.
My nieces, since they were little, have loved swings, and now they want the really big swings that we still have here. And I can't imagine a playground without swings.
Children are also getting very excited about the new playground.
A new swing.
And a slide?
And slide.
Certainly swings and basket swings are excellent inclusive play elements that you can get multiple kids on at times, or people of different mobilities and abilities. So look, we'll take that on board.
The upgrade will cost about $250,000 and will be completed by June. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Up to 34 kilometres of the water pipeline from Morgan to Whyalla will be renewed over the next few months. The work's aimed at securing reliable water services for 100,000 regional customers. The vital pipeline has served the Spencer Gulf for close to 80 years.
Our regular inspections have identified the need for an upgrade of the first pipeline of about 34 kilometres.
The new sections will be constructed parallel to existing infrastructure to minimise disruption. People across the Spencer Gulf are asked to put the phone down for their mental health. New data shows 2/3 of Australians surveyed are overwhelmed by how much their lives depend on technology. Those aged under 35, the biggest group reporting negative effects.
We've also realised that we're losing out on qualities of life that we've missed. Face-to-face engagement, being able to socialise in person.
A new quiz has been designed to help people understand their relationship with technology. Stay with us. Powerball fever hits the region's newsagents, and one of the region's biggest music festivals opening its gates to our best friends. Lottery fever has hit the region today, with tonight's Powerball offering up a whopping $80 million. People have been flocking to their local news agencies in the hope they will be the one that takes home the jackpot.
We've all thought of winning it, and tomorrow someone's dreams will come true. With $80 million up for grabs, ticket holders are already imagining on what they would do if they won the money.
My initial reaction is probably pass out, and I'd probably retire.
Well, I'd have to share it with a lot of family and friends and just set my kids up for life.
I'd probably have a heart attack on the spot. I have no idea what I'd do. You could help a lot of people, change a lot of people's lives, like friends, family.
Civic News Agency in Port Pirie was busier than usual today, with people lining up to make sure they're in it to win it.
So with the jackpots, we're usually inundated all day, like it gets really busy. You find like a lot of people that don't normally buy lotto will come in just randomly and just buy a ticket.
This news agency has had its fair share of luck in the past, but no one is yet to crack the jackpot.
You know, 50,000, 20,000 winners like that. You do get a lot more of them. That's just not well known. We had a customer the other day that came in with his free bonus ticket that the lotto give out every now and again, and he won $20,000 on that.
Many eager players will be waiting in hope of becoming Australia's next millionaire. Christian Cominos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Quorn is spoiled for live music this year, with both the Rock the Ranges and 500 Miles of Music coming to the town. With the shows getting bigger and bigger, organisers have had to find more space.
Rock and rolling into a new venue. With 2 music festivals planned for 2022, Revive the Regions is switching base. The new site is located 10 minutes from Quorn and gives patrons a spectacular view of the Flinders Ranges.
We've always had it at Quorn in the Oval, which has been a great facility, but I just wanted to change it up a little bit and put it amongst the ranges. So as you can see, we've got Devil's Peak in the background there, and that'll just be it's a spectacular backdrop.
Nestled in the picturesque Pitchy Ritchie Pass, the venue is a family-owned and operated bush retreat.
And really excited to support John and his team in bringing such amazing events to not only this region but to regions all over South Australia.
The location change also allowing the festivals to now spread over multiple days. The bigger space will also allow on-site camping.
It's all basic camping, but you know it's just great to be able to have a few drinks and not have to drive home.
There's plenty of campsites and there's facilities for caravans and vans, and there'll be campfires.
The Quorn community is excited for the economic benefits the gigs will bring.
There's plenty of rough trot for everyone, so events like this just bring not only the local community people but regional people from all over the South Australia.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, the inaugural Monday Bash is set to be a little different from your normal music festival. As well as being an all-ages event, the organisers have decided to make it a dog-friendly one as well.
Get the leash ready. Your best friend can now come and rock out with you on the Monday Plains.
We just saw a great demand from travellers who are
bringing dogs with them. A lot of people travel around in their caravans and camping and so forth with pets and dogs.
Organisers following in the footsteps of sister event, Birdsville Bash, which allowed patrons to bring their dogs to the Birdsville Festival in 2017. They will be catered for with their own separate camping site, along with an area for people to sit with their dogs while watching the concert. For those that like to dress up their furry friend, there will be competitions throughout the 2 days. Prizes will be given for best costume, best trick, and best dressed owner and dog.
We have things like doggy fashion parades, so just people can dress their dogs up and show them off, and that's always a lot of fun. People love their dogs getting dressed up. 300 to 400 dogs attend the Birdsville Bash each year, and organisers are expecting a similar number in April. To buy tickets, visit the website. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We will check what's biting in the Spencer Golf this weekend. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. Time to check what's out there in Spencer Gulf waters when we drop a line in this weekend. Here's our fishing experts with their tips.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Well, the wind's been stirred up and combined with those big rains we've had, there should be some good fishing to have in the next few months. Silver whiting should be fairly abundant out in those middle banks on the low tides and the high tides along the front of the shacks as you'd normally try. Crabs are just about everywhere at the moment. A little bit thicker towards the top of the Gulf, up around even the old power station site and around Curlew Island, which is a bit unusual. There's been a few snook caught on the troll. Up around the creeks, as always, you get a nice feed of salmon in there, and also there's a couple of little mullet right around the mouths of the creeks as well. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Welcome another week around the Gulf fishing tips from Port Pirie. The blue swimmer crabs are starting to come around in number, particularly around Port Broughton. We're finding quotas are quite easy to catch. Port Davis, around Woods Point should be really no problem at all as well to get yourself a feed. So we haven't been talking much about anything else of species, but our yellowfin whiting we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, they've been doing really reasonable around a lot of the runoff creeks and all that sort of stuff. So that's all I've got this week for you.
Hi, Whalers fishing tips this week. Some really good weather coming ahead for Sunday and some nice fresh tides. It has been a little quiet on the fishing scene. From the local jetty, we had a few blue swimmer crabs come in. Still plenty of small undersized crabs, so watch your size limit on those. Also out on the boats, there has been a few crabs coming in. Guys having to work really hard for them, so definitely got to pick through the small ones. Around Point Lodi, there's been some nice salmon schools holding up against the rocks. And land-based from the Whaler foreshore, just a few silver whiting coming in from that area.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. Well, the blue swimmer crabs are crawling pretty well at the moment, so if you're after a feed of blueies, around in the proper bay has been fishing well, and also the little bays closer to the township as well. Whiting news this week, there's been some good sized fish down at Thistle Island. There's also been a few snook down that way too. The south side of Thistle has had some patches of tuna, especially first thing in the morning. Back close to Lincoln in the bays, squid have been going pretty well, up along the North Shore and also around Boston Island, and off the town jetty first thing in the morning. There's been a few patches of whiting in Proper Bay, but you will need to shift around to find those better fish. That's all for the tips this week. We'll see you again next week.
And with a look at how the weather is shaping up for our weekend plans across the region, it's good evening this Thursday evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and good evening, everyone. A mainly fine day across the region, and I'm pleased to say it is looking to be mighty fine on the weekend. But let's first take a look at today's weather forecast. From 3 p.m, Port Lincoln was cloudy and 22, Port Pirie reached 25, and Cooper Pedy was mostly sunny and 29 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta reached 24 degrees, while at Kadina and Cleve all reached 21. Broken Hill was mostly sunny and topped 27 degrees. Adelaide was cloudy and topped 22. Woodnut was 23 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low clouds scattering across southern and South Australia in cooling southwesterly winds near a weak front is only bringing a few light showers. These showers are mainly confined to the southern peninsulas. Skies are clear in the north due to drier winds and area of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swells below 1 metre. Partly cloudy on the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow. Port Lincoln will get to 23 degrees. Cleve is set to reach 22 and Woodner is set to top 27. Whyalla will be partly cloudy and is set to reach 24 degrees. Port Augusta and Kadina both to top 26. Mostly sunny in Port Pirie with 27. Clare will be 23 and Broken Hill sunny and will reach 28 degrees. It will be sunny in most parts on Saturday. Port Augusta and Broken Hill will both be sunny and reach 29. It'll be partly cloudy in Port Lincoln with a top of 23. Set to be mostly sunny in Whyalla and 25. Woodner and Port Pirie both 28. Partly cloudy in Woodner and Whyalla on Sunday, both to reach 25. Port Augusta will be mostly sunny to get to 27. Port Pirie 26 degrees. Broken Hill sunny and 31. Kadina 24. A look at next week now. Partly cloudy across most of the region on Monday. Port Link will be cloudy and only reach 21. Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill will be mostly sunny. Port Pirie is set to reach 27 and Port Augusta to get to 25. So not a bad forecast there for next week either, John, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you later this evening with an update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow night. Until then, enjoy your evening here on 7. Good night.